Hello crafty friends and welcome to this die cutting 101 video. This is also the introduction video to this year's Die Cut December. I know it is the 30th of November when this is going live, but I thought I would use this video today to introduce you to what's happening in Die Cut December. So let's go right back to basics. What is die cutting? Die cutting is using a metal die to cut a shape out of something like card or paper. Doesn't have to be. You can die cut through ribbon, you can die cut through fabric, acetate, all sorts of things. So this is a metal butterfly die. Most dies are made of some kind of stainless steel. Even if they're a different colour, that's probably because they've been painted. But on one side they're pretty flat like that, and they got little holes in. And on the other side, you can see these thin lines. These are the cut lines, and they're what make the pattern in the cardstock. This is a paper die cut or a cardstock die cut, and I use this die to cut this out of some smooth white card. And you can see how the cut lines on here have cut the shapes. But how do you do this? Well, you need a die cutting machine, and there are probably hundreds of die cutting machines, all sorts in all sorts of sizes. You can get teeny tiny ones and massive ones. But to demonstrate today, I'm going to use my old faithful Cricut Cuttlebug, which is probably a medium-sized die cutting machine. It's got two doors that flap down, and these form the sort of table that everything sits on. And it also comes with some cutting plates. Now, these two and this rubber mat are replacements. I've had my Cuttlebug for quite a long time, and the original plates that came with it gave up the ghost a long time ago. I'm probably on maybe my fourth set of plates, I think. But every die cutting machine comes with its own particular plates. This one is a big thick bottom plate. Then there's a rubber mat, and then we've got two clear cutting plates. And what you do is you read the instruction manual for your particular die cutting machine. If you haven't got the manual, you may be able to download it from the manufacturer's website, or go to the brand's YouTube channel and watch their videos about how to use their machine. So for my Cuttlebug, if I want to cut a die, I use the thick plate, the rubber mat, one of the cutting plates, then I'll put my die on top with the cutting side facing up, then the thing that I want to cut, in this case a bit of smooth white card, and then the top cutting plate. And then I feed it through by cranking the handle. Now, you can probably see that this hasn't cut particularly well. It's done a fairly good job around the outside, but there's lots of bits uncut in the middle. I'm going to carefully not move that, and I'm going to add some shims. Shims are just something that you put in your die cutting sandwich, because that's what this is called for obvious reasons. And you can add one shim at a time. I'm just using some old packaging. And I'm going to run it through again and see if I get a better cut. And as you can see, it has cut more thoroughly. There's a couple of areas here towards the middle of the die cut that don't look like they've cut through properly. So I'm going to add another shim. The more shims you add, the thicker your sandwich becomes, and the harder it is, the more effort's required to get it to go through the machine. But that looks to me as if it has cut pretty well now. So that's come away. And this is where the little holes come into play. You can poke something into those holes and it will start to release the die cut from the die. Some of these haven't cut still, but I could try cutting it again, or I could try carefully peeling away from the back side. Poke it through from the front so you've got something to grab, and then carefully peel it, and it may well come away without damaging the front of your die cut. It looks a bit raggedy on the back, but on the front, the side that people are going to see, it looks absolutely fine. So I managed to get a fairly decent cut by just adding a couple of shims. So as you can see, there are lots of little bits of card still stuck in the die, and you don't want to put it away like that, because the next time you get it out, before you can use it, you're going to have to poke all those out, because it won't cut as well if it's already got paper stuck in it. So there are several things you can do. You can go through each of the little gaps and holes and poke things out with a pair of tweezers or a pokey tool. There are these brush things that you can get. I picked this up at a charity shop. It's a Sizzix one. You can use them on dies and die cuts to kind of poke out the bits and bobs. They don't always get everything out, but that's something to try. And what I like to do is drop them. Now this mat is glass, but it's toughened glass. It's designed to be heated and cut on and all sorts. So what I do is I lift this up high and I drop it, and quite often most of the bits fall out. So I'll do that. So we've got most of the rest out, and there's just a few. So I always start by dropping it, knocking out as many as I can, and then just poking out the last few with my tweezers. And with die cuts, if you've got bits of paper still stuck in there, they've been cut properly, but they are still sitting in the holes, I just give my die cut a bit of a flick, like that. As long as it's not too delicate, it can withstand it. So just flick your die cut, and most of those bits will fly out. And the last few bits, again, you can poke out with tweezers or a pokey tool or something. If you find it difficult to get your die cut out of your die, and this can happen with quite intricate dies, you can put a bit of wax paper or baking parchment, greaseproof paper in between the die and the card, and that will make it come out much more easily. So now you can see the baking parchment through the little holes, and I can just press the end there, and the whole die cut comes out much more easily. And I can give it a good flick, and there I've got out all but one of the bits of paper, and it's cut through perfectly. So adding just that little bit of baking parchment made the die cut come out more easily, and it actually helped it to cut a little bit better. There are other things you can do to help intricate die cuts cut well. You can try running it through twice. So run it through one way, run it through the other way, and that might help with the cutting. So for this attempt, I've taken my cardboard shims out, and I'm going to put the die and card like that. And then I'm going to use a self-healing cutting mat. This is by X-Cut. It's not meant to go through die cutting machines, but I've been using this, and it does work pretty well as a cutting plate. So I'm going to run that through like that. And that's cut, not perfectly, so I might need maybe one cardboard shim with that cutting plate, because it hasn't quite cut through all of the intricate pieces. If you're going to use something that isn't approved by the die cutting machine manufacturers, you do so at your own risk really, but I have yet to break a die cut. No, that's not true. I did break my Gemini Mini. That was because I tried to ram far too much through it. But as I say, you do so at your own risk. When I was preparing for this video, I asked in my Facebook group if anyone had any die cutting hacks they'd like me to share. And there were lots of suggestions about how to get intricate dies like this to die cut really well. So we've got add a shim, which we've talked about, use a self-healing cutting mat. Now this was another suggestion, and this is a metal shim. So I've got a large electronic die cutting machine, so I don't have to crank the handle. And one of the elements of the sandwich is this metal shim. So you put your die on this magnetic shim, then your cardstock, then this metal shim, and then another cutting plate. Run it through your die cutting machine, and this metal helps the die to really cut well. So having a metal shim is a good idea for intricate die cuts. Different machines will obviously have different metal shims. I think some of them are called precision plates, things like that. One of the things I do like to use is some of this magnetic sheet. You can buy this in sheets from places like Amazon, but sometimes you get them in die folders or with dies that you buy. And I've been using this in my Cuttlebug as a shim. It's great because it also holds the dies in place. So let's look at die cutting another type of die. This is just a basic stitched rectangle die, and it's got this big open area here. And if you try and cut it, say, with a scratched up used cutting plate, some of these scratches will transfer onto the card that you're cutting. So in this case, it would be fairly easy to avoid because I'd use the clean side of the plate. But for demonstration purposes, what I normally do is I just put a scrap bit of paper, this is a bit of packaging, over there that's nice and smooth, pop that in there. Anything with a straight edge, put in at a slight angle, because when you're running things through the roller, it's quite hard to push it over a long straight edge. But if the roller starts here and then kind of rolls over, it's a lot easier on the cranking arm. So there we go. There's our stitched rectangle, and it's got no scratches in it at all. So moving on to these dies now. These spell out the word hello, but each die is from a different set, from a different manufacturer. So I guess the first tip is, when handling lots of small dies, rather than running them one at a time through your die cutting machine, put them on something sticky like this, and then you can treat them as if they're one die and run them all through together. But when you're running dies from different manufacturers together, just spread them out a bit, because each manufacturer will make their dies a little bit differently, and there'll be different thicknesses. So let's say this die is thicker than this die. If I was to butt them right up against each other, when I ran them through the die cutting machine, this die would cut fine because the roller would contact it, but it would stop it contacting this one properly, and it probably wouldn't run through as well. So spread different dies out so they don't stop the rollers contacting each other. So I'll put these on here like that. Add some grease-proof paper because some of the dies have got patterns cut into them and they're quite intricate. Put my card on top and then run it through my die cutting machine. And there we go, some nicely cut letters. One of the things you can do to help with sticking your die cuts down is, before you die cut, put some double-sided adhesive on some card, and then you can die cut from it, and your die cuts will have adhesive on the back. So I've got the word celebrate here, and I've got my adhesived card, and I can die cut from that. So you can see that it's cut through. It hasn't gone all the way through the backing, but it has die cut the card, and as I remove it, the backing stays in there, and now I've got a sticky celebrate. Another thing that double-sided adhesive is good for when it comes to die cutting is adhering vellum. Obviously vellum is translucent, so any adhesive you put on the back can show through it. But if you put double-sided adhesive on the back and then die cut your shape out, it shouldn't show through. So now I've got a vellum heart with sticky on the back. I can take the release paper off. You can't tell that there's any adhesive on the back of the vellum because the whole thing is covered. It's 100% sticky on the back. I mentioned before that dies are made from stainless steel mostly, and therefore are magnetic. And I've been using this little tool. This is a nail art magnet tool, and it's great for fishing in my bin to try and find dies that I've accidentally dropped in there. And I use it for picking dies up off the floor. It's just long enough. It gives me that tiny little bit of extra reach that I need to be able to just bend over while sitting on my chair to pick up a die. But in my Facebook group, this was recommended, and it is a telescopic magnetic tool picker-upper. So you can just use it to pick up a die. Now I don't even have to bend over to pick a die up off the floor. When I've finished using a die, I normally just toss it in here, and then at the end of the day put all my dies away. But you can get magnetic trays, They're designed for, I guess, mechanics or DIY, where you might have nuts and bolts or screws or nails, and you can just throw them in there and they stay put, but they're great for dies as well. You could always tape a magnet or a magnetic sheet in the bottom of a pot if you wanted to do that. So I think that's all the hacks for now. There are lots more hacks coming in Die Cut December, and if you've got any hacks of your own, any tips or tricks when it comes to die cutting, then do leave them in a comment on this video or any of the Die Cut December videos. What I might do at the end of the month is collate all the hacks and tips and tricks that are left and put together some kind of document that you can download. Right, I think that'll do for today. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll join me for the rest of Die Cut December 2024. Bye for now.